I have been so slack. Thank you so much for dealing with my slackness. If you're joining me in real time, I just want to pause here for a moment to say thank you. This world, haha, it's all an illusion and it's been spinning. I ran a half marathon last weekend. I had company and it's just been kind of nuts. So once I took a couple days off work, so I've been trying to get caught up there. So just living the dream, haha. Anyway, here we go. Thank you for your patience. The body, attack, sickness versus healing. We now turn to passages from the body as a means of communication and the body as a means or end, where Jesus describes how the body obeys one of two voices, the ego's voice of attack, which is a divided purpose, or the Holy Spirit's voice of healing, which is a unified purpose. We begin with a description of how attack is a projection of the ego's thought of separation onto the body. Attack is always physical. When attack in any form enters your mind, you are equating yourself with the body, since this is the ego's interpretation of the body. When you equate yourself with the body, you will always experience depression. When a child of God thinks of himself in this way, he is belittling himself and seeing his brothers as similarly belittled. Since he can find himself only in them, he has cut himself off from salvation. Denying our reality as Christ, and thus the reality of our brothers, how could we not feel depressed, especially when our belief in attack anchors our attention onto the body and away from the mind that is our only hope of salvation? Yet hope returns when we ask the help of the teacher of hope, the true ego fear that underlies all external expressions of fear or anxiety. Consequently, we always seek to reinforce identification with the body, since this serves to mask the mind's guilt over its perceived attack on God. This protected guilt forbids entry to the right mind's atonement, the home of the Holy Spirit, who is our communication link with the truth, the voice that calls us to choose forgiveness instead of attack. Remember that the Holy Spirit interprets the body only as a means of communication. Being the communication link between God and His separated sons, the Holy Spirit interprets everything you have made in light of what He is. The ego separates through the body. The Holy Spirit reaches through it to others. You do not perceive your brothers as the Holy Spirit does, because you do not regard bodies solely as a means of joining minds and uniting them with yours and mine. This interpretation of the body will change your mind entirely about its value. Of itself, it has none. Using the same body that the ego made to attack and be attacked, the Holy Spirit's lessons teach us to reverse the projection of separation and return to the mind where we can choose again. Then does the body's purpose become holy, for as a result of the Son's change of mind, a symbol of separation, separate interests, has been transformed into a symbol of joining, shared interests. A shadow cannot change, but its source can. Asking the Holy Spirit for help undoes the mind's guilt that cast its shadow on the body, lifting the darkened veils of specialness and allowing the light of forgiveness and healing to shine upon it instead. If you use the body for attack, it is harmful to you. If you use it only to reach the minds of those who believe they are bodies and teach them through the body that this is not so, you will understand the power of the mind that is in you. If you use the body for this and only for this, you cannot use it for attack. In the service of uniting, it becomes a beautiful lesson in communion, which has value until communion is. This is God's way of making unlimited what you have limited. The Holy Spirit does not see the body as you do, because He knows the only reality of anything is the service it renders God on behalf of the function He gives it. Purpose gives the body its meaning, not the body itself. This key theme of Jesus' symphony emphasizes His teaching that the decision-making mind that chose the ego is the problem, not the body that seems to attack. Similarly, salvation cannot be found in the body, but only in the mind. This is the perhaps not so subtle meaning of the reference to communion, where Jesus, as He did in the previous chapter, corrects the Catholic misconception of what it means to join with Him. One can never be in communion with a body, but only with a mind. Indeed, one does not even join with a mind, since we are already joined in the one thought of God's one Son. Salvation lies in recognizing our unity with Jesus' mind, not seeking oneness through joining with His body. Nevertheless, it is through the teachings of the figure we call Jesus that we come to know that His mind is ours, and with shifting the body's purpose, reaching the mind by reversing projection, the separation is healed and we awaken to the glorious reality of our unity with the Creator. This is true communion. The beginning of the next paragraph reinforces the idea of purpose. Communion ends separation, attack promotes it. The body is beautiful or ugly, peaceful or savage, helpful or harmful, according to the use to which it is put. And in the body of another you will see the use to which you have put yours. If the body becomes a means you give the Holy Spirit to use on behalf of union of the sonship, you will not see anything physical except as what it is. Use it for truth and you will see it truly. Misuse it and you will misunderstand it, because you have already done so by misusing it. Interpret anything apart from the Holy Spirit and you will mistrust it. This will lead you to hatred and attack and loss of peace. Another important theme here is reintroduced. Since the mind's decisions are unknown to us, our still being identified with the mindless body, we can only gain access to them when we perceive the body through Jesus' eyes. His vision enables us to recall the mind's projection as we recognize that what we see outside is the direct consequence of what we have first seen inside. Projection makes perception. Attacking another through seeing differences where none exists become our opportunity, choosing vision instead of judgment, to recognize the attack on ourselves by having chosen the ego as our teacher and friend, misusing the mind's power. Guilt inevitably follows our mistaken decision, giving rise to projection, hatred, attack, and loss of peace. At this point, we cannot help but misperceive our brothers, seeing them as objects of our special hate or love projections, instead of recognizing we are the same split-minded members of the sonship. And I will stop there and we will look at this connection tomorrow. I love you. Thank you so much for joining with me, and I thank you for your patience with me. Bye.